Welcome back to another edition of Grizzly Connect. Bryant Johnson with ASC Junior Center Jack Osborn of the Grizzly men's basketball team. Jack, something amazing happened last week. There was a missed free throw. New Mexico Highlands forgot to block you out, and that was one of the most amazing dunks that we've seen this season on a tip dunk from a missed free throw. Before we really get into this interview, looking over dunks that you've had in your career, where does that stack up coming off a missed free throw and your ability just to ram it down the heart of the defense?
You know, that's probably one of my better ones I've had. I'm used to just getting two-handed power dunks, but being able to take advantage of that situation was exciting for me as well. I was getting the tingles.
And here you are, third in the nation in field goal percentage. Junior year averaging 13 points and 6 rebounds a game. But the future of your collegiate career was rather unknown when you were at J.K. Mullen High School. The decision was made to pursue college basketball after you made the move from Tasmania to America. But college, there was interest from Metro. Schools were showing interest in you, but the scholarship offer really had not been presented to you. Yet you came down on a visit with Robbie Hanslick, and a day later, everything had changed. When you look back on the trip, which really was more to get Robbie down here than anything, how could things have played out differently if you didn't make that trip?
I really don't know. I was very lucky that I had some people looking out for me. But honestly, I don't know where I would have been without the opportunity to come down here.
Now, 3 years later, we've continued to see the marked improvement year by year, almost by about 70% every year, 4 points to 8 points to 13 points. Why the leap this year?
There's always been a spot to fill. Losing South Highbar last year, you know, those big shoes to fill, so I felt I had to step up. But I feel like it's really just confidence in myself and experience, really, because the league stays the same even though players change. It's still the same league, so you just got to get out there and do it better the next year.
In all the post-game interviews I've had with an athlete, none has drawn such a strong response as mine did with you. Two Fridays ago against New Mexico Highlands after the 86-66 win, we had you on after the game and brought up how the last 17 minutes of the game at Fort Lewis in Durango, you didn't play and you were basically benched. And you were given the opportunity to say what you wanted about that moment, but you immediately deflected the question and said, we won the game. We hadn't won since 2004 in Durango. That's all that mattered. A high school coach, heard that interview, went to his team, played it back, and said, this kid's a couple years older than you, and listen to how mature he is. I mean, the ability to have that big of an impact on area coaches and schools just for a simple response. I mean, when you think about that response to a question, what does that say about your ability to understand the game on a bigger platform?
Well, I didn't deflect the question. That's my honest answer. And without the team, you know, you can't do it by yourself. And being in a small town environment, I like to try and put out the role model to all the kids out there to say that they can do it. And it's not about themselves, it's about the team. And, you know, every day you got to work harder, work together.
It's Jack Osborn with the ASC men's basketball team. You are a guy who is more content in, I think, different settings, though, and not needing your iPhone or technology to keep you going. I mean, you were telling me about your experience on the island of Vanuatu in the South Pacific and how that kind of gives you a different perspective on life. When you look at where athletics has taken you and around the world and coming so far away from home, what is it about this sport and athletics in general that kind of allows you to have this different lifestyle and one that allows you to always explore?
I've been very blessed in the ways of travel, and I've got a family that likes to travel, and Australians like to travel, but basketball has given me the opportunity to go places where a lot of people don't have the chance. Being a really strong sport in America really helps. A lot of my friends back home all want to come to America to play, and a lot of them are very jealous that I've had the opportunity, but it's not just about getting here, it's about getting here and making it work. So you've got to work hard, but I love the experience and it'll be with me for the rest of my life.
With Adams State pursuing rugby as a club sport, something that you are very interested in, what would it take to convince your coaches to just let you go out and show the Americans how it's done?
Well, you know, here I might be seen as someone that knows how to play rugby, but I'm sure all my friends back home are saying Jack doesn't know what he's doing. Like, I played Australian football, but you know, it'll be really interesting to see how rugby goes. I think I might be a bit too big.
Well, I mean, there's always rodeo as a backup option.
They could, but I still think my feet will hit the ground on the balls.
You've told me that if international basketball doesn't work out, which at this point, I mean, you're going to have opportunities. It's pretty obvious. You'll have a look in Europe or South America or in Asia. But if you weren't able to pursue basketball, that Australian rules football professionally would be something that would definitely catch your eye. Where is your interest at in still pursuing that dream?
Well, it's funny you say that because I feel like I'm going to go home and play basketball before I pursue the European dream and everything, just get my feet back on the ground. And that has made me think maybe I should go try out, because Australian football teams are looking for the basketballers now, the cross-country runners, trying to broaden their horizons. And I feel like that, given the opportunity, I'd definitely look at it and try and have another go, because I used to play.
But now you've said it's not that rare for someone of your height to be able to participate in rugby and do it seamlessly. I mean, it seems daunting for a 6'10" player to have a huge impact in the entire structure of the game. But as you've said to me, it's not the case. So what kind of comparison would you give to someone of your height playing a physical sport like rugby? Because we don't see it at really hockey or football, U.S. American football as much. But why does that work in Australian rules football?
Well, in Australian rules football, there's so many broad positions. You know, a 6'10" player can be a ruckman, which is a centre player, which is pretty much doing like all the aerial manoeuvres, or a full forward who'd be catching the ball and kicking for goal. In rugby, you know, 6'10" is probably pushing the height. You probably find 6'6", your more lower centre of gravity would be the opportunity height. But Australian football, you know, the sky's the limit.
Well, it always is fun discussing the sports that have gained great popularity in Australia. I mean, mainly for you, because this is year 5 that you've been away, and really outside of the opportunity to go back in the summer, it just is not realistic to travel back. You did have the opportunity to bring your girlfriend out here for a little bit, and that's got to be great just to have a connection to Australia. But when you have someone out here, then they go back and you've spent an extended period of time with them on the ground. How does that kind of change your connection to the sport, to the game, when you finally do have a piece of Australia that comes to America and then has to abruptly leave?
You know, yeah, it does. It tests you a bit, and it shows, it really puts your priorities in order. It was really nice to have her here over Christmas break, because being a small town, all the college students leave, so the town gets a little quiet. So it was great to have her here, and there's no doubt that I'm missing her and everything, but I'll be seeing her soon.
Oh, what did she find was the most appealing aspect of the American culture? I would say food is typically the biggest draw. And what was something that you with your veteran American experience, did you show to Stephanie when she was here?
The price of things, I guess, is a little cheaper, but the food, you see it and it looks appealing, but then you sort of get the taste. So there's a lot of sugar in it.
Sugar and sodium is what we do, Jack. Come on, you know this by now. Your team is approaching the final 6 games of the regular season. You're in a position for the second straight year to be knocking on the NCAA tournament's door, and you're a huge focus of it. When your team is succeeding and your role individually is so paramount, what does that do to your confidence and approach heading into the final month of the year?
My confidence is really high because, like I said, my individual role might be seen as very important, but the team can go on without me. The team can go without anyone. So my confidence is fine. I've just got to play my game, and it's very exciting getting into the end of this year. We're looking for a better record than last year, of course, always trying to improve. And, there's a couple of teams that we've got to knock off to secure that spot.
Jack Osborn, ASC men's basketball junior, getting ready for an important game this evening as ASC is taking on Pueblo.